Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for yet another therapy session because shit shows need therapy sessions, and all we're being served this season is one shit show after the other. I say one after the other. It was quite decent since the last time we played Wolves until before we played Liverpool, with the exception of the first leg against Middlesbrough. But what was that again today? Just a few stats for you. Chelsea are now behind Wolves. Wolves have now done the double over Chelsea in this season. Chelsea are now in 11th, in the bottom half of the table. And Chelsea are now officially worse at this stage than we were last season. How much worse does it get? I don't know. But until this manager, these sporting directors, and frankly, half these players get gone, I don't know what will get better. I don't know. If you weren't here yesterday, by the way, different background. I know maybe you've heard that I was moving house. This is not the new house. I just don't have Wi-Fi in my new flat yet. Currently at my parents' house and my brother's setup. So please excuse the weird background, but here we are. We're still joined by Nashi. We're still joined by Pice. Appreciate both of them for coming on because, oh boy, trust me, I know it's not easy after games like this to come here on a stream and have to sit here for God knows how long and talk about pure depression because I can't believe how bad we are. I can't believe how bad we are. We go 1-0 up with a great goal. A super assist from Caicedo. Great finish from Palmer. And not even 2 minutes later, we fucked it. Not even 2 minutes later. Caicedo not understanding how not to give the ball away. Like, how can you make such a great pass and then such a stupid, loss of possession in the space of 2 minutes? How can you do that? How can you do this? The amount of chances we've had that we could have scored. Sterling's volley, Jackson's header, Gallagher at the end now 1-1 with the keeper. The amount of chances Palmer had where he could have squared it, but instead tried to shoot and either got blocked or put it miles wide. But Poch, man, if he leaves this stadium today without being sacked, it's already a failure from the ownership. And I say that, obviously everything that they do is a failure, but this is just another failure on top of everything that they've already failed at. Poch needs to go right now. The sport directors need to go right now. And honestly, we just need to hope and pray because nothing else is saving us. Pice, I'll start with you. You've been very much against Poch, even earlier than I was, to be fair. And I want to ask you, how much longer can this continue? Mate, you and me both know, and you and me have both known for weeks, that it cannot. But it still is continuing. Although after today, I am doubting whether my prediction of him making it too much will be right. Because I feel like he might not survive February now. But who knows? I could be wrong. But Pice, I mean, I'll bring this tweet up now, right? What more do you need than the wife of the most experienced and best player in the team tweeting, "It's time to change"?
Good.
If you wait any longer, it will be too late. What more do you need?
Good. I'm glad she's done that. Yeah. We honestly need these fans' reaction. We need everyone on social media to go mental. We need the fans booing like they did today. Like, I know it doesn't help team confidence, but it's for the bigger picture, man. Like, I honestly, this just feels exactly the same as last season, and they're just going to delay the inevitable because these guys up the top have got no standards. He won't get sacked tonight. He vont get sacked if we lose against Villa. They've got zero standards at all. These guys, trust me, if you know what they believe above, what I've been told directly, like, they think Pochettino is elite, right? They think he's like a fantastic manager. Like, we're fucked, honestly. Like, I will be absolutely shocked if he's gone before the end of this season. They keep delaying the inevitable. And, recently I was briefed, that we've had some good results recently. Like, yeah, we had a few wins at home, but they were hardly convincing. We won against Palace from a penalty, 1-0. They're absolutely dog shit. Like, honestly, like, it's embarrassing. Today was horrendous, and the thing is like, I'm not even angry at the team anymore. Yeah, they're playing shit, but they've got no confidence. But honestly, like, I'm starting to get more annoyed with the above because it's just radio silence, or they just brief like, oh, this is it's a project, this is expected, results can't continue in question marks, yet when they continue, nothing happens. Like, there is no pressure on anyone in this team or the manager to perform. And when you don't have that, it's you don't succeed. And they can go on and on and on about the long term. What matters is the short term. Yes, there'll be inconsistencies. Yes, the players will be inconsistent. When you go for a model that's so young, yes, we can expect inconsistencies. But I'm watching around this league, other managers, and yes, other managers at other clubs, they don't have the pressure on them as they would at Chelsea. I get that, but still, you can see clear style of play. You can see clear instructions, players in their own position. You know, like this team has no. This team.
Can I quickly interrupt in terms of pressure? I get it from the fans and the expectations in the media, right? But we've been around 10th all season again.
There's no pressure.
He's not even been close to getting sacked. So how much pressure even is there?
I mean, that's a good counterpoint, because at the end of the day, like I'm sick to death of looking around the league and seeing other managers get results. It's so frustrating. And I look at our squad, right? I look at Spurs, and I hate to bring them up, but look at some of the players in Spurs' squad. I don't exactly like, as individuals, I don't think they're great. Like, they've got some good players, but you know, it's like you look at their squad and you think, okay, it's an all right squad, but it's nothing like great. I look at our squad and I think we've got talented players everywhere that could be doing 5-10 times better in performance had this team been properly coached and had a proper system and had proper tactics, had a manager that inspired belief into this team that then translated onto the pitch. I've said this so long and everyone keeps calling me, you know, a Yadar or whatever, but it's absolutely factual. You cannot get characters like Graham Potter and Mauricio Pochettino as your manager at Chelsea. It does not work. I don't know how many times they're going to do this before they realise these type of managers do not work at Chelsea. They're bland, they're boring, they don't make a connection with the fans, they don't care, and the fans get annoyed as soon as results go bad because
we're 3-1, 4-1 down, right? And the manager is sat in the dugout like
nothing. He does nothing.
He's like Lampard, but the weird thing is Lampard. We know Lampard does care, and still he was sat there like this. And now Poch, hey, the amount of times we've made jokes about Petr Cech, David Luiz, Willian, agents at Arsenal. This is what Poch is doing to us. He's just being a Spurs agent. How can he be doing what he's doing now? Now, to be fair, he played 2 fullbacks and fullback today. That worked out. Brilliant. Chilwell, what the fuck are you doing? Malagusto, what the fuck are you doing? Caicedo, outside of that one pass, what the fuck are you doing? I nearly threw my water bottle from fucking anger. I mean, and Nkunku up front as a lone striker, no 10 behind him, no wingers that will come central so Nkunku can play off of anyone, can rotate with anyone. A complete waste, which I've said the whole time. No, Nkunku is not a striker, especially not a lone striker. He did all fucking game. Just waste this minutes. You might as well have had him on the bench. You might as well have not risked him getting injured, because the way you played him, you might as well have not turned up. But please, before I get to Nation, I will in a second. I put this question to Charlie yesterday, and this was obviously before today's game, but even still, you know how you said it there in terms of our squad should be better than Spurs? Because I agree with you, bro. And I'm not even trying to draw the comparison with Spurs. Ignore that. Just how we judge our own squad. Did we just overrate our players? Like, obviously, in terms of potential, I think we're all pretty spot on that a lot of them are very good in terms of what they could become. But do we just think that they are much better now than they actually already are? Because the Poch is obviously terrible, but they still need to do more. Like, even as individuals, man, I don't care if the manager got taken out by a sniper, the players should still be doing better than they are. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. I put a lot of blame on our players. Like, for today's performance, like, after that pass, Caicedo was shocking. Like, Sterling shocking. Like, there's a lot of players that are playing really poorly. Like, Gusto at the end, he didn't have to give that penalty away, but if you look around this squad, like, and it was the same with Potter in moments last year where we would maybe win like a couple of games and then like we'd draw and then we'd go on like this losing streak. And it's very hard for players to get confidence that way. And this squad just looks completely zapped the confidence. And the problem is when you then have a manager that doesn't inspire confidence, like he is like, I see the comments about Mudryk, like he's making comments about our players in public, whether he's right or not. Like that can't be good for young players either. Like, his, you know, players coming back from injury, like, and getting injured all the time. Like, is that his fault? Like, there's so many questions about like the manager. And for me, I just honestly, after Everton game, I was done with him. I was Poch out after that Everton defeat away, and this is the same as last season for me. I was Potter out after the Newcastle defeat away because I just don't see, like, even if we I don't know, finish 8th this season, that's irrelevant to me. Like, this is not a project. This is not progress. Like, I want to see, like, I understand if results are inconsistent, but I want to see something to believe in. Like, I want to see, okay, we lost to Wolves today, but look at these patterns of play up until we conceded. Like, look at just things like patterns of play. Like, watching, believing in the team.
The goal
spirit, bro. When we go behind, spirit. Like when we go behind, do you ever think we're going to come back? Like, do you ever see Pochettino pull the team to the side in breaks of play and fire them up again? Like, do you ever see any of these things? No, you don't, because he's lost it. He's lost it so much. Pre-season, I was actually really excited because I saw a Pochettino as a manager that I thought I can see. I don't, obviously he didn't win a trophy at Spurs, but I could see signs of okay, we're going to actually be hard to beat. Like, we're playing some decent football. He seems quite connected with the players. He seems quite sort of in touch with them. And I feel like that's what some of our young players need. They need that sort of arm around their shoulder, which I didn't think Potter gave them, behind the scenes. I thought from that aspect, that might make us play better and perform better, but it's gone completely downwards. We're on a downward spiral constantly from pre-season and the start of the season. It's just gone. It goes down, 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 up a tiny bit, down, 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 down. And it's you can't have that. You could, how much longer can you wait? Genuinely, you beat Villa in the cup. Who gives a fuck? Because we're going to lose a Premier League game maybe next week or the week after, where it's going to be like this.
Yeah. And people are now trying to keep, some people, I think after today is probably going to be a lot less that still want Poch to stay, to be honest. But there's people kidding themselves into, Charlie was saying this yesterday, but we could win the cup final. I'm like, bro, did you not see us play Liverpool 3 days ago? I know it's a different game. I know it's at a neutral ground, but our record at Wembley, even with the proper ownership, even with the proper manager, we couldn't win there. What do you think is going to happen now? We're lucky if we don't concede 2 digits. We conceded 8 goals in 2 games against Wolves at home. 4 goals against Wolves at home. And they could have scored more. Man. Naishi, I'm so sorry. I will get to you in one last second. I want to put one point across back to Pice because of what you said a few minutes ago, Pice, in terms of that you've essentially been briefed or heard that they think Poch is amazing and everything. But you know what makes me, what I find weird about that? Because you spoke about that Everton defeat, right? In a press conference after that Everton game, he essentially said, we need players in the transfer market. And then they go through the transfer market and don't even buy him a player, right? But then they apparently still think he's amazing. So, but doesn't that completely contradict itself? Surely if they think he's amazing, they need to back him. I disagree that he's amazing. But if I was the sport director or the owners, and I would think the manager is great, and he asks for 1 or 2 or whatever new players, then surely you would try to give that to him, rather than not signing a single player and the only thing you do is recalling Cesare Castadai from low. Surely, do you know what I mean, Pice?
Yeah, 100%. I've spoken about this before too. It doesn't make any sense. The positive briefs and how they say it's a project completely contradicts its. The biggest thing in itself is they gave him a 2-year contract. That's not a long-term project. That's oh shit, we fucked up last time. We don't fully believe that this is going to go right. So let's give him a 2-year contract and see, instead of a 5-year contract or a 4-year contract. This is not right from the start. I was like, oh, that's a bit funny, only giving him a 2-year contract. But yet still they come out with the same shit after defeats as what Graham Potter had. And I truly believe they believed in Graham Potter to turn it around. But I don't see how they can believe that Pochettino is the right man when A, you've given him a 2-year contract, and B, you don't back him in the transfer market when he publicly called for transfers. He literally said, we need to analyze the market. He was indirectly saying, we need players right now. What have they done for him? They've bought back, he wanted height, right? So they bought back Caicedo, who was already settled on loan at Leicester. Let's not forget, all the bad loans that we've called back. Let's call back a player that was doing good on loan as well. What the fuck? It's complete. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Honestly, there's, other than signing Palmer, I would want to say Gusto, but today even that I can't say. Sure, Enzo is a great player. I still think Caicedo will be a great player for us. But other than Palmer, nothing they've done has worked. Nothing. And I'm not trying to open up this whole Mount Havertz, they should have stayed. No, but remember when everyone was saying, let those go, bring new players in, everything will be better. Is it? We're worse than last season. Again, I'm not saying that's because Kai and Mount aren't here, or it would have been any different if they stayed. But I'm saying, they're changing everything, and everything's getting worse or staying the same. How many wrong decisions can you take in the space of 2 months? Their answer is yes. Do you know what I mean? Nation, I'll finally come to you. First of all, thank you for being patient. Second of all, I still have the tweet up on screen. Belle Silva, the wife of, I know not officially the captain, but we all know, the main leader of the team, tweeting this. Like, even if some fans don't think Poch should be sacked because they think God has no point because it still won't get better, which I, by the way, agree with, unless the sporting directors also go. But if the sporting directors are gone, who will decide the new manager? It will be Ekbali. So who's he going to flip and pick? Do you know what I mean? So how good is that? But Poch still needs to go. But like, what more proof do you need that the players don't believe in him anymore than the wife of the main player, of the most experienced captain player tweeting this? Like, what more do you need, right? And actually, I'm not 1,000% sure where exactly you stand, and should he obviously, I assume after today you're also going to say he should get sacked, but I can't fully remember where you were before today. But just give me your thoughts, bro, because it's, Pi said earlier, he's not even angry anymore. I flip-flop around. I'm kind of angry permanently at this club. Like, you saw it in our group chat. I was like on level 100 of rage today, all game long. it was still 0-0, and I was still fuming. Do you know what I mean? Let alone at 4-1, 4-2 down. But how do you feel? Like, how much worse does it get?
Yeah, first of all, like and subscribe your channel. And today. I'm past anger, if I'm being honest. It's on the realms of acceptance, if I'm being honest, and I'm kind of accepting the mediocrity of this team right now, and it's kind of concerning that I'm actually accepting it. And I am in line with you guys about Pochettino out. I did try and withstand and wait, but I think you'd be kind of unwise if you're not Pochettino out, because that performance today was horrible from start to finish. This is the first game that was literally the whole 100 minutes. It was horrible. We were just dominated, defense, midfield, attack. And the worst thing is we actually had chances to get back into the game. We had so many chances to get back into this game. And we had 10 minutes and we still were dejected. We didn't even get motivated. You could tell the players are not on side, and you can tell that they've already given up, which is kind of worse than last season. At least last season, you could see some fight in there.
Last season, they only gave up once Lampard came in, didn't they? Before that, there was something there.
Exactly, there was something there. But this season's actually turning out to be worse than last season, which is kind of surprising, because I was thinking these last 5 to 10 games, I was positive, was getting into the idea that maybe Pochettino's starting to do something, but it's actually getting a lot worse. We've conceded 8 goals in the last 2 games, and we could have conceded a lot more. I think Liverpool scored at least, hit the post at least 3-4 times. I'm not quite too sure. Wolves, I think they actually were tired at one point, which is why they didn't carry on attacking us and scoring a lot more goals. The defense was shaky. The midfield was just absent. There was massive holes. It was a mess. Pochettino sitting down, not instructing, he's clueless, if I'm being honest. He's really clueless. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I thought he had a lot more about him, but this clearly shows that there's nothing about him. There's no style of play. There's no progression. There's nothing really. The only bright spark is Cole Palmer, and he's just living off Pep's muscle memory, if I'm being honest. I've seen a tweet, I don't know, and I think he's really living off Pep's muscle memory. It's not because of Pochettino's instructions. So and I'm just as looking at this comment here about 11 players extending to the next decade. That's concerning as well, because we have to stick with these players. And just back to on your point, and Laurenz, about the players, is maybe our expectations are quite too high for these players. That's another thing we need to really bring to fore. It's okay, maybe these players are not as good as we think they are, but we need to give these players a really experienced manager to really see what they're about. And like I said,
the thing is though, he is experienced. Like, he is experienced. He's had a lot of years in the game. Like, he spent several years at Spurs. He went to PSG. Like that. Like, That is experience.
And Southampton before that. He has
all
the Premier League
and Southampton, like he is experienced. So
and Espanyol is also a La Liga team, right? Like it's not like they're a complete bunch of morons. But I still get Naishi's point, because in a sense it's like, yes, it's experience, but not and I regret being positive. If you follow this channel, my initial reaction to being linked to Poch was like, absolutely no chance. Get that Spurs twat, nowhere near my club. Now I feel like that again. I try to be positive. I try to support it. I try to find the positives. Yeah, he should be good at developing young players. It kind of makes sense for the squad we have. I kidded myself. I fooled myself. I talked myself into trying to back it, which is why I'm now so negative and why I'm now so regularly annoyed and angry. And people have a go at me on Twitter all the time about how much I moan. I'm like, I wish I didn't have to. I wish I didn't. But it's because I feel almost angry at myself that I ever believed in it. Like, why would I ever believe in Poch? I didn't think Poch was good when he was at Spurs. Why did I change my mind? And then he went to PSG and was shit. The whole time there, he was shit. He made Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe look worse than Nicolas Jackson. Imagine doing that. 3 of the best players in the world, 3 of the best players in history, and he made them look like a bunch of morons. How does he achieve that? And now look at us. We've gone from having the 3rd best defense in the league under Graham Potter last season to looking like we can't even keep a clean sheet in League 2. Like the defending, what Chilwell did today, what Gusto did today, what Thiago Silva did defensively today, what Disasterclass did defensively today, the whole 4 of them, and Caicedo as the DM in front of them. Can you play worse than these 4-5 did today defensively? But even like look at Liverpool. The first goal that Liverpool scored, was it the first goal? Like Jota basically walked through. I can't remember if it was the first goal. One of their goals anyway. They literally walked through Badiashile and Thiago Silva. Like we have 2 centre backs there, and it's like they don't even exist. We might as well turn up with 11 strikers. Like it makes no difference anymore. And the weird thing is, I'll read out this comment here by Sharma now. It says of the 23 players to have, obviously Nation, I know kind of touching it already, but I just want to read it out properly. Of the 23 players to have started a Premier League game for Chelsea this season, only 2 players' contracts expire before 2027. 11 extend into the next decade. Those 2 players who expire before 2027 are Silva and Sterling, I assume. Gallagher, maybe, because his contract runs out soon, doesn't it? So it's Silva and Gallagher. So that's brilliant. But the weird thing is, I mean, Pice touched on it earlier. We have no patterns, no structure, but what I mean is, right, and when I say I need to also expect more from the players, you see the first goal, the first goal we scored today. You see that chance that Sterling had, like the over-the-top ball from Gallagher, cut back from Chilwell. These are good moves. These are, I'm not sure if they're managerial patterns necessarily, but they're good footballing moves. Like we can play football, right? But we can't control games of football anymore. And I was thinking about this. When was the last time we were this bad at controlling games? Like we played Wolves at home and we couldn't control the game. When was the last time that was a problem? Maybe like, that first half of the season when Jose got sacked in 2015. Even then, because ever since then, maybe towards the end of Lampard's reign, we couldn't control games, I guess. Obviously, I'm excluding the end of last season Lampard period because that is that shouldn't even count because of how no one tried anymore. But other than that, it didn't matter whether we were bad under Tuchel or bad under Conte or bad under Sarri or bad under any of these managers. The one thing we were half decent at was controlling a game. Now, we might have struggled to break down low blocks and score and made a silly mistake and conceded goals. Sure, all of that is fine. And that was what it was like a few months ago this season already. But now we can't control games anymore. We can't control games against Wolves. We can't control games against better teams. We can't control games against anyone. Remember back to like September, October time when we said we're better against better teams? What was that at Anfield? Do you know what I mean? Even that's gone. We're not good against anybody. Like Wolves, everyone was 1,000% sure Wolves would get relegated before the start of the season. Didn't they change manager 3 days before the start of the season and essentially get rid of nearly their entire squad? Like, or was that last season where they got rid of the manager 3 days before the season? I think it was this season. And we are now behind them in the table. We are behind Wolves. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Let me get the lineup up and let's react to this. I touched on it already earlier. I mean, on the one hand, you can say, well, he played 2 fullbacks at fullback. Now, maybe that makes some of our criticism from previously this season a bit silly because clearly that doesn't work. At least that on its own doesn't make anything work. But Pice, I'll go back to you. What was, in hindsight, what's your biggest problem with this lineup? My biggest problem is playing Nkunku as a lone striker without having a number 10. That's stupid.
Gallagher starting against a deep block. Sterling starting. I mean, in hindsight, everything else was okay. I mean, but when we got into the game, Chilwell might as well have been a left winger. That side was absolutely abysmal from both the players and the coaching, because you could clearly just ask Chilwell to not go forward and let Gusto go forward instead. Or just actually go forward, but have it use your brain, like don't go forward at literally every single opportunity, so we don't get one ball down the line to Neto and they were basically through on goal. Like I can't remember what goal it was, maybe their third goal. Chilwell was so high up the pitch and Silva was forced to defend that wide, and then they had a cutback and scored. Was that their third goal? I think it was, but it was their third goal. It was so bad. Like you can't have a 40-year-old centre-back coming across to try and defend 1v1 wide space against one of the best wingers in the league. Like, that's ridiculous.
We should rightly have a go at Chilwell for how poor he was today. But because he was so aggressive on every single occasion, that was clearly instructions. Clearly. But that makes you question already, why would the manager tell the left-back that's next to the 39-year-old centre-back to be aggressive the whole time? Because that will obviously, when you're being aggressive, you're not going to get the ball every time. It's natural. No matter if you're great or not, that's going to happen, right? Again, Chilwell will get a low rating because he deserves it. But that doesn't take away from that the manager is an idiot. Like, don't make the guy that's next to the old guy be aggressive. Like Pies just said, let Gusto do it on the other side. Now, maybe Gusto isn't fully fit to do something like that yet. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. But if that is the case, then he shouldn't be playing in the first place. Because clearly he couldn't defend today. Today we got Leon Gusto. I mean, he didn't do anything going forward. So maybe we just go shit Gusto, because my God, was he terrible defensively. Neji, lineup, in hindsight, many issues. What did you think at the time of when the lineup came out?
Yeah, I was in complete agreement with you, Laurenz, about Nkunku up front, exposed just as a lone striker. I would have liked Nkunku behind Jackson. I would have even thrown Jackson straight in and Nkunku behind, and then maybe Enzo and Caicedo in the middle. Other than that, I would have been happy with that lineup. Yeah, so with Chilwell, I didn't expect him to play this bad. He was really bad. He
had 2 shockers in a row now. My God, dreadful.
Honestly, I don't know maybe those injuries are starting to catch up, because he's just gone off it. I don't recognize him at all. Literally, that side was just, honestly, they're just raining down on that side. Gusto, I can excuse Gusto because he's the other matches he's been brilliant. You know what I mean? He just had a one-off. There's a good player in there, but Chilwell, there's a major concern there. But otherwise, the lineup was happy except for Nkunku. I would have brought Jackson in and taken out Gallagher.
Exactly. Like he did that against I guess it was Borough, so maybe it's a bit different. But he did that the other week when against the low block, then Borough going into the game 1-0 up. He didn't start Gallagher. And I'm like, yeah, makes sense. You're playing a low block, you need Gallagher for your legs and stuff, but that doesn't apply in a game like this. And that should have been the same today. Like, Jackson was supposed to even be on the bench at Liverpool if the Ivorian, if the Senegalese team allowed him to fly to Manchester straight from Ivory Coast, where the African Cup of Nations is held. But instead, the manager said, no, we all have to go to Senegal together, so he couldn't make it in time. He was supposed to be there, and now he's not starting today. Why? Like, again, I'm not saying Jackson will have fixed everything, but at least when Jackson is there, and Nkunku has someone to play around and play off of. And even when this first half was as shocking as it was, he still didn't bring Jackson on at half-time to give Jackson and Nkunku a bit of time to get a no. He essentially only brought Jackson on when Nkunku came off. So they couldn't even play together, link up together. The part that worked so well in pre-season, that's the one you're not giving us. You're such a moron. Like, how can you be worse than Potter and Villas-Boas and Scolari? Like, when I tweeted, he's the worst manager we've literally ever employed. Now, when I say ever, I mean since the 90s, because I don't know what happened before, I'll be honest, right? So maybe someone that got us relegated in the 70s was worse. Very much possible. But we didn't have fucking shit money then, right? So that doesn't count. But in comparison to anything that's happened since Roman Abramovich turned up, he's the worst manager we've had. How are we worse than Potter? Like, people, how is that possible? Because Potter had reasons. Potter joined in mid-season, didn't have his own preseason. The team literally said they've had the worst preseason they've ever had, so they were completely unfit for the whole season. We're in the middle of the season World Cup. We were in the middle of changing the whole squad. Half of it was already gone. Half of it wasn't yet. Poch had a complete fresh restart, a complete fresh one. Had preseason, had a completely new squad. Now, he might not have picked half of the squad, but he based his whole system on one player, and now this one player is back and he's playing him completely differently, played him up front as a lone striker. He's just a moron. Just leave, Poch. You stupid Spurs twat. Just leave. Can't see your stupid fat face anymore, stupid chipmunk. Do you know what I mean? Pissing me the fuck off. Let's get into these player ratings. We'll be here for 3.5 hours otherwise. Petrovic probably gets the highest rating, I'll be honest. Don't think he can do anything about the goal. Made 1 or 2 good saves. Because he still conceded 4, I'm going to give him a 5. Unless some of you have something in memory that you're like, that makes him warrant a little bit more than a 5. But I'm going to go with a 5. Pice, what would you give Petrovic, bro?
I mean, I don't know, conceded 4 goals, but were any of them, could he have done anything about them? The first 2, definitely not. Both huge deflections.
The fourth one was a pen.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, no. I mean, even the cutback for the third, he smashed it in. So,
arguably, he should deserve a 6 because he made some decent saves too. But
yeah, honestly, I was going to go for a 6 because I can't judge him down for any of the goals.
You know what? I'll go with you a 6 as well.
Which is crazy, to be honest, but it is what it is. You know, it's facts.
It is facts, unfortunately. Neji, would you agree with the 6, or do you think even if he's not at fault for any of them, conceding 5 goals is too many to get a 6?
Obviously, I don't like my goalkeepers conceding that many goals, but he couldn't do anything about all 4 goals. I'm just thinking back in my head, like the first one, he couldn't do nothing. The massive deflection. Second one, even bigger deflection because it was going out of play, and then actually Disas's deflection brought it back into. I think it was an own goal. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it counted as an own goal.
The third goal, it was a cutback, wasn't it? He couldn't do nothing. Range, it was 4 yards, and then the fourth one was a penalty, a well taken penalty. So I'll give him a 6. The only thing it was that clearance. I don't know if you remember in the first half. Had a shaky. Yeah, but other than that, I'll give him a 6. I can't down him for that.
Yeah, no, I think that is fair. And now we'll get to low ratings. I want to dish out zeros left, right, and everywhere, right? Let's do Disazi first. That own goal, it's an own goal. At the same time, I understand why he tried to block it, and it kind of bounced off him. It's more unlucky than I think it's an error. And I think in terms of passing out from the back, he was the best player we had today. Again, from the back 4, including Caicedo, maybe. But he still scored an own goal. Didn't really defend anything. Wasn't a threat on set pieces at all, even though he's by far the biggest. He's very, very rarely a threat. I'll give him a 2. And that's probably being nice. Naishi, what would you give Disazi?
Disazi, to be fair, I know he had the whole team.
Like, I'm happy for you to tell me why I'm wrong, by the way. So, like, if you disagree, don't hesitate.
Yeah, the thing is, I can't remember too many, other than that massive deflection. I can't really remember too many mistakes directly from him. So I'll probably give him, because of the overall team performance, I'll probably give him a 3. I'll probably give him a 3. Yeah, it's not too much higher.
It's not too different now. Pies, do you think I've gone too low? Mind you, guys, other than maybe Thiago Silva, pretty much everyone in the team will get lower than this. So I've not been only harsh on Disazi, don't worry, but we'll get to it. But Pies, would you go as low as I have for Disazi? Would you maybe go with Naishi, maybe even a little higher? Because I understand what Naishi said. Direct mistake that changed anything drastically, I wouldn't say he's really made any. But yeah, what's your view, Pies?
Probably go like, to me, I'd probably go like a 5. You know, I don't think he was horrendous. Yeah, he was below average, but I don't know. My issue was the wide stuff today. Like the wide spaces were just horrendous, and then obviously we was getting destroyed in the middle as well because of that. But if the game plan was much better in terms of defending the wide space and the wide players being better, we would have been fine. But yeah, I had him. I did do some player ratings. Write them down. During the game, I gave up in the second half because I was just so pissed off. But the first half, I had Disassi as a 5.5. So I don't know.
Okay, I hear that. Yeah. I guess. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, put it in a chat. What do you think? NX said 2. Jay said 3. He said he meant 2. He never seems comfortable. 4 from Thomas. I personally think Pies has gone a tad high, but maybe I've gone a tad low. So in the end, I guess maybe it evens out roughly fairly, and we overall give him a 3.5. We're going to Thiago Silva because he scored. I'll give him a 4. I know that's even still lower than Pies said, but it's basically a 3 otherwise, or 3.5 maybe, because I thought he was better than the rest, but also poor, and he scored, so hence I'm going to say 4. But yeah, that's me. JC says maximum of 3 for Disazi. Pies, Thiago Silva, I assume because he scored, you're going to give him even higher than Disazi. So does he get a 6 for you, or maybe 5.5? What do you reckon? Pies, this was for you, sorry.
Oh, me?
Yeah, Thiago.
Oh, I don't know, man. Silva's not been playing well lately. He's looking so tired. Like, he's looking old, man. I don't know. But...
No surprise he's looking tired, by the way. He's playing every 2 days at 39 years old.
Yeah, no, he's definitely. I can definitely see, he's starting to decline a little bit, I think, towards the, these last few games. I don't think he's been great.
You know what? I've changed my mind to a 3. I forgot that.
I think he. I know he scored, but I think he was worse than Disassi on the ball as well. So slow. Obviously not his fault. He got beat for pace, but it just. I don't know. Like even the last game as well. I think like some of his tackling, he's just not throwing. Like he's not throwing his body into stuff. 100%. Like he doesn't seem fully there, and I don't blame him, to be fair. But we have to judge what's on the pitch. I think one of their goals. I think the cutback. He could have tried to block it a little bit better, I think. Like, just the instinctual things is not quite there with Silva at the moment. Like, how many times he usually cleans up when others make errors, and it's just like, well, now he's also making errors. So, or he's also at fault for the other players' errors, and it's kind of disappointing. I'll go like a 4 for Silva. I think he was quite poor.
Fair dues. A 3 from me, a 4 from Pice. Nishi, what would you give Thiago?
This one, like I said from my last appearance on your channel, I love Thiago, but this game, he got exposed. He really got exposed. Honestly, he was getting dragged. And maybe that's probably because of Chilwell's positioning, but his pace, I can see his pace is declining as well. And yeah, I just don't want it to be a situation where, remember when Aspie was just prolonging his time at Chelsea. It's just this one was a poor game, if I'm being honest. I'm not going to just judge it on this game, but I agree with his age is showing a bit now, and maybe Pochettino is almost exposing him as well, just playing him every single game. He's 39 years old. Like, why are you playing him 90 minutes every single game?
The problem is when he plays Badia Shield, you see what he did at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's who can really cover him. But Shield's probably,
and Cole is now injured, so it's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah.
In terms of rating now, I think I'd go with a 2.5. I might actually go lower than Disassi, so I'm going to go for 2.5 for Thiago, unfortunately.
All good. Let me just see if the math says that should be the same. I think it should. Yes, leaves us. Actually, takes us down to a normal 3. Fair dues. We go into Ben Chilwell, right? And I want to almost say an instant 0. Then I've opened up the stats. He created the most chances in the match with 3. He had a passing accuracy of 90%, only misplaced 4 passes. He won 4 out of 5 tackles, and he had a ground duel ratio of 6 out of 7. How on earth? I looked at him and I thought everything he did was wrong. The only bad stat here is 1 out of 9 crosses. But the one cross that he did work, if that even counts as a cross, the volley cut back to Sterling, should have ended up in a goal. But I still want to give him a real. Judging by these stats, I can't say 0. But I can't go higher than the 2. Maybe I should, judging by these stats. But I think he's just overcommitted permanently. I still think it's managerial instruction rather than him himself deciding that. But he overcommitted so hard, and Thiago behind him, being completely exposed because we played a single 6 rather than a double 6. You didn't really have a left midfielder to like cover for when the left back pushes up, as in a left central midfielder to cover back because Caicedo was in the middle. So he couldn't just run over and cover for Chilwell. So Thiago had to do it, and Thiago was obviously slow. That's literally how the third goal happened, right? He should have had an assist, Chilwell, for Sterling. But yeah, I'm going to say 2. Like I say, because of the stats, my heart was saying 0. Honestly, my heart wants to give Chilwell, Gusto, Caicedo, Enzo, Sterling, wants to give Gallagher, wants to give all of them 0. Literally all of them. But maybe to keep it a bit more interesting and actually, footballing opinion rather than just throwing out emotional ratings, I'll adapt it slightly, but I'll say 2 for now. Neshi, did you also think he was just terrible from the eye test? But how confusing are these stats then? Like I say, 4 out of 5 tackles, 6 out of 7 ground duels, 90% passing actually is not bad. It just felt different than that, didn't it?
Yeah, it's his positioning, honestly. That's his biggest weakness at the moment. And I'll go along with it too. He works hard and he's got a lot of energy down that left, and he really brings a lot of attacking. But he's almost his defensive deficiencies outweigh his attacking benefits to the team. So it's really not good, honestly. That left side, it was just non-existent, no defense at all. And the thing about Chua, he does this thing where when a winger is attacking and then cuts back in, he never presses them, and he almost allows the ball to go into the box. He literally...
It's so weird. It's so weird why he does this. And Colwell does the same. Maybe he's learned it from Chilwell.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's heard it from Chilwell, because left backs are not meant to be. In football, you're meant to press the winger so that the ball doesn't go back into the box. He literally lets the ball get crossed in, and it lets the defenders struggle with a dangerous cross. Chilwell, I'm really concerned. I think we might need another left back in the summer. I think we need a left back, and I'll go along with you, Laurenz. I'll go with a 2.
Fair dues. Pies, do you think my 2 is nice? I know some people in the chat said the chat don't show how much space he left on the left. Jay said that's exactly why you have to watch the game instead of go off stats. He was absolutely shocking. No, I agree. The stats would suggest he should get a 7, but he's getting a 2. But you need to... The eye test alone is also never right, because we are prejudiced going into the game. We are annoyed when we are bad, so we see everything as worse than it maybe sometimes is. At least I think so. When you're already negative vibe as a fan about your team, and then you're losing, then you never notice any small positive thing. So only going off eye test is also wrong. I think you always have to have a mix of looking at stats of a more neutral perspective and your own eye test. At least that's how I see it. But Pies, 2 2s. What would you give Chilwell? Probably less, but the stats are weird, aren't they? Like, few players that we will look at still in this team will have better tackling and ground duel stats than Chile has here, which is crazy because it just didn't feel like that, did it?
No, it was. I don't think it was good at all. I don't know what the issue was in terms of instructions going forward, like when to go forward, when to stay back. But that side we was getting murdered down that side. It was the exact same against Liverpool as well. Sterling and Chilwell down that side. Considering they know each other as well so much, they played together for England for years. It's just embarrassing to watch. It really is. Defensively, Chilwell was shocking. Just no brain at all. Like, honestly, my question is, why are these guys even listening to this clown of a manager? Like, you can clearly see it's not working. Like, make up your own instructions at this point, because everything they tell him it goes wrong and costs us results. So, yeah, for Chilwell, I'm going to go with... I agree with the 2. I think he was terrible. The fullbacks were most at fault for our play. Definitely him anyway.
Yeah, honestly, I think Gusto all the same. Ashraf just put it here in the chat, a quote from Poch. I will quickly get it up on Twitter, so we can read through it. It's this one, and then we'll go to this one as well. Poch said, I think we're all not good enough at the moment. This is the reality. Myself also. What we are showing today is we are not good enough. No one can be safe. No, I don't want to come here and say I'm the best. Well, better bloody not, because you're not. At the moment, we're not matching the history of the club. That is true. We need to accept and be critical. We will not give up. Honestly, this is the first time he's said the truth. The first time. And honestly, makes me feel a little bit less mad about him. Because at least he's like, including himself in the criticism, saying, I'm also shit. So now that doesn't help us and it doesn't make us any better. But one of my biggest irks with him so far this season has been that whenever something goes wrong, he either has excuses, pretends like it was fine anyway. Like he says, oh, we played well, just lost anyway. Or weird things like that. At least today he said, we're all not good enough, including myself. It's something, I suppose. But still not enough. I mean, Pice, your thoughts to in particular this one, the one that's quoted? I'm not saying it's not by any means making me change my mind that he should be sacked, but I'm a tiny bit less mad because I'm at least seeing a little bit of self-accountability from him, and we haven't seen that until today.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't even care about this press conference. He should have just not done it. Like, just respond on Wednesday, but he shouldn't be here. The guy needs to be sacked. He's useless.
Yeah. I mean, we should have responded to Liverpool. Like, look at what we did at Anfield. It was our worst performance of the season, and now we arguably topped it purely because we played a much worse team. And somehow, and then that's the damning thing. That's what made him that, including Bale Silva's tweet. The players don't believe in it either. If the players believe in the manager, and we have decent players, there's no way the players play the next game after that Liverpool embarrassment like we did today. There's no way that happens if the players believe in whatever the manager's doing, in my opinion.
You're right.
There you go. Neshi, thoughts on these quotes from Pochettino?
Yeah, at least he's taking accountability, but it doesn't change anything, as Pi said. It really doesn't change anything. I don't really care. And it's a matter of time till it goes. I think when they're gonna sack him is after the cup final. If he loses that cup final, they're sacking him. I think that's the point.
Honestly, that would describe this ownership, because that makes absolutely no sense. After that cup final, you might as well keep him if you give him the cup final, keep him until the summer. What's the point in changing then? The cup final, if we win that guarantees us Europe. This is what these owners want. So surely if they're gonna sack him, it will be before the cup final. But again, these guys make absolutely no sense. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that.
Literally. And someone else made a good point, by the way. You know how important, obviously there is all this talk about we need to raise so much money by June. I still don't think it's quite the way they put it, but I wouldn't be surprised, because we failed to sign so many players so far. I wouldn't be surprised if they fail again at doing so in the summer, then we'll be in financial trouble. And who knows? Maybe is next season already the season? Maybe it's from all the Roman stuff with illegal payments towards Cyprus, with Hazard, with Eto'o, with Willian. If the points deduction is coming, if it is, I'm not saying it will be, but if it is, we need to be in Europe next season already. Because if we are in the Conference League next season, then we can win the Conference League and qualify for the Europa League that way. Because if we're only trying to qualify through the league again and we get a points deduction, there is no way we qualify again. And if we have another season without Europe, you can literally shut down the club, because we've spent so much money. We have amortized every signing that we've done, but the amortization of all these players combined is still multiple hundred millions per year. And without any Europe, we're finishing 10th every year, you're not going to be able to pay those things. You're not going to get any good sponsors. We're going to get a cheap Riyadh Air sponsor in the summer, or maybe they're going to have to extend Infinite Athlete because Riyadh Air doesn't even want to come then. That cup final is so important. We cannot go into this cup final with Pochettino. I almost want to do like a reverse Spurs. How Spurs sacked Mourinho just before the cup final? I almost want to get Jose in just for the cup final, literally. But yeah, it's like I said, at least he took some accountability today. It's something, but it's way too late. Just fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Just fuck off. Go back to Spurs. Don't care. But they don't want you anymore either. They're well happy they got Ange, even if they're shit and bottled it yesterday. But they're still bloody happier with Ange Postecoglou than they would be with you dickhead. Do you know what I mean? And Max in the chat said, what did Bale Silva tweet? She basically tweeted sack Poch, essentially, in other words, which I rate. Anyways, we move on from Ben Chilwell with a full house of 2 ratings for Ben Chilwell. We go into Malo Gusto. Gave the penalty away at the end. Had a shock until then. Gave the ball away countless amount of times. Him and Caicedo, I don't know, they just got caught in possession permanently. Let me look at his stats. If his stats also look better than I thought he was. Because honestly, my honest thought is 0. Worse passing accuracy, but not that much worse. Successful dribbles, 0 out of 3. Successful crosses, at least 1 out of 2. Chilwell had 1 out of 9, so I guess that's something. 0 tackles attempted, 2 out of 13 ground duels. You're getting a 0, mate. You had a stinker. 2 out of 13 ground duels. Get yourself in the bin. Do you know what I mean? What is that? Absolute disgrace. Should go on loan to Strasbourg for that. Now, I like him and he's been good so far, but today he had an absolute howler. Like, how's he managed to be worse than Chilwell? Like, how's he managed that then? Fuck, I'm giving him a 0. Maybe some people think that's harsh, but did you hear these stats? 2 out of 13 ground duels. That's a disgrace. That is a disgrace. Pies, 2 out of 13 ground duels. Surely you can't give him anything higher than a 1 for that. Giving a penalty away.
I was going to say, I don't know who was worse between him and Chilwell. I mean, somehow the stats back up Chilwell, but I thought Chilwell was probably worse. Gusto giving away that penalty probably gives him. I'm going to give him the same rating because I think they were as bad as each other today. I'm going to give Gusto a 2 as well. Not the type of performance that I expect from him. I was very disappointed knowing that he's been one of our better players this season. Just not on it at all. Again, I question the togetherness, whether he is, behind the manager or not. Seeing some of his performances today it's the lack of confidence and the body language is just translating horribly on the pitch. And again, when we go goals behind, these guys don't know what to do to turn it around. 1, because of tactics, and 2, because of the pressure. They're all young players, and the crowd's getting irritated, and unfortunately this is what happens when you have a young squad. You don't have players like Giroud, for example, to get you a goal from a scrappy cross and get you back in the game. You don't have even someone like I don't know, like Loftus-Cheek, for example, someone a bit more experienced, try and drag the team forward through midfield. You don't have this type of experience that are also good players. So
hey, we got pure profit though.
Yeah. Hey, we can bring Alfie Gilchrist on when we're 3-1 down, 12 minutes left. I mean, brilliant. Nothing on him. I'm just saying that's the position we're in.
Well, essentially 4-1 because he came on after the game.
And Badish. Let's bring on some defenders, some young defenders. Class.
Yeah. Oh, 4-1 down, and he brings on 2 centre-backs and fullback. It's unbelievable. I'm not, obviously, Gilchrist was arguably better than Gusto, and Badish was probably better than Chilwell. But still, he's doing what he did at Anfield when he brought on all the not fit players at half time, hoping that they would help him salvage the game, but fully risking their health. And today he didn't risk anybody's health, or maybe he did, I don't know. But he just trying to save face, not concede more. That's why he brought on the 2 centre backs. Let's be real, that's why it happened. But anyway, Nashi finished that off for us. I said 0. Gusto, Pai said 2. What would you give Gusto?
I would give him a 1 if I'm being honest. That penalty at the end just frustrated me so much because I think we could have got a draw in this game easily. Yeah. If we never conceded that penalty, we could have got a draw. And he knew he was coming off as well because he looked towards the bench before that attack came about. He's got the pace to recover there. And that penalty, that was just lazy defending, if I'm being honest. He was coming off. He should have just at least, if you're going to let the ball get crossed in, then that would have been okay. I would have rated him the same as Chilwell, but that penalty just frustrated me so much. So I'll give him a 1. And he was really, I don't know whether there was an injury there. I don't know. Something was off with Gusto today. Something was definitely off with him. So I'll go with the 1.
It's a weird one. I mean, obviously he was injured, or not, like muscle overload is what he had after playing too many games after his last injury. He missed a couple of games since then. Came on obviously at Liverpool. Mason saying not really fair. Cucurella and James should have been fit. Yeah, but this is football, bro. Not. I mean, obviously at Chelsea it's worse than at other places, but not everyone is always going to be fit. This is where you have multiple players in every position. So that when someone is injured, you have replacements. You can't just say, it's not fair to be hard on those players because other players aren't fit. Now, because like if they were only terrible from the second half, then fair enough. You could say they may be tired, but they were terrible the whole game. So you can't just say, they, and Gusto came on and looked all right in the second half against Liverpool, didn't he? So you can't just say, and I mean, I do also think that Chilwell is arguably being overplayed by starting at Liverpool and starting today after 4 months of injury. But that doesn't stop the fact that also for the first half, he was diabolical. But yeah, a 0, a 1, and a 2 leaves us at an even 0. And Caicedo, this is a quick one. He gets 0.5 because he was absolutely shocking, but I can't let that wonder pass for the first goal go completely amiss. So I have to give him 0.5 at least for that. But everything else he did was absolutely shocking. He got booked for dissent again. back-to-back games where he got booked for dissent, for a tackle where he clearly fouled. 2 back-to-back fouls where he clearly committed a foul, and he loses his mind at the ref both times. The first time was on its own a clear yellow, even without him moaning. And he got lucky, the ref let him off. 2 minutes later, makes another stupid foul and loses his shit over the ref and gets booked. How stupid can you be? He, by the way, at 0-0 still, before even Palmer scored his goal with Caicedo's 1-day assist, Caicedo already gave the ball away in the space of 30 seconds twice, literally straight in front of our goal, and Wolves should have scored. In the first 5 minutes of the game, that was, or maybe first 10, whatever it was. Then, phenomenal pass for Palmer. Amazing to see. Makes me think even more, so Enzo and Caicedo, neither of them should be at the end. I mean, this is why we're waiting for Lavia, I suppose. But again, that's putting all our faith into it. Well, now a 20-year-old that we signed at 19 and hasn't played. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But yeah, he is shocking. In our group chat, I was saying I actually think he is flop of the season. Not because I think he's the worst player that anybody has signed, but what you got for what you paid, I think he's the worst. And I'll stand by that. Yes, and it's not his fault that he picked up money, and he shouldn't care whether other people deem him flop of the season. He should just care about trying to play better. It doesn't matter whether the media, me, or anybody else says he's the flop of the season, or Havertz is the flop of the season, or Mount, or flipping Guardiola. It doesn't matter for Caicedo. But in my opinion, when you're judging a signing, the price does matter, purely for when you're judging a signing. When you're judging like how good is a player or not, the price doesn't matter. But when you're judging was something a good signing or not, the price obviously has a relevance, because that's why, for example, Aspie was a bargain. If Aspie cost £200 million, he wouldn't have been a great signing. But because he cost £7.5 million, he was an amazing signing, right? Do you get me? But I think for the money we paid, Caicedo's been awful in the grand scheme of things. He's had a few good games, but he's had more bad games, and most of the games it's just average. I'm like, I need more than average most of the time for 150 million. Please tell me why you think I'm so wrong, because I honestly, people, Aaron, all sorts of guys in the group chat, they're saying I have all sorts of agendas. And I'm saying, like, the amount of mistakes Caicedo makes, that if Jorginho did them, he would have literally been booed off the pitch. And I know he's a new signing, but this is Chelsea copium. Every time we sign a new player, we love them for 2 years. If they're not good after 2 years, we abuse them to the worst. We did it with Havertz, we did it with Jorginho, we did it with Timo Werner. But crazy thing is, Timo Werner was shit from month 4. And still it took people 2 years to actually start being mad at him. Because when Chelsea sign a new player, the fans suck him off for 2 years. Only if they're then still bad, then they start hating on him. But otherwise, it's always just playing the other players first, rather than the new signings. Like, again, I'm not saying Caicedo is by no means is he alone at fault for anything. Obviously not, right? Not by any means am I trying to say that. And I actually still believe that long term he will be a phenomenal player and a great signing for us. But so far, he's been shocking. That's all I'm trying to say. But Pice, your rating for him today, and if you obviously want to say why you think I'm wrong or whatever else, please do.
Well, I think your belief there that you still think he's going to be a phenomenal player and a phenomenal signing is why I'm not going too harsh on him, because I believe the same. Today, he was dreadful, 100%. Gives away too many fouls, doesn't win a tackle, sloppy, lacks confidence. Completely different player to the one we saw at Brighton. But I'm not in a position to call him a flop yet, because I don't rate this manager. I hate this manager. I think he's shit. So I'm not going to judge him in a terrible system. I'm just not. Okay. It's not me. Yeah, for me,
I'm not even. I know I'm saying flop of the season, but I don't actually like. My base opinion is you can't judge any signing after 6 months. But if you're like, okay, who's so far been the worst signing, that you can say, but you can't say a permanent conclusion of whether someone has been a flop. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, he's clearly not. Like, he's too soon to call anyone a flop. Like, in the grand scheme of things, but the first 6 months have been a bit of a flop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think you get hung up on price tag a lot, whereas
maybe I do.
Especially with the way the market's moving now. Like, did we overpay? Yeah, definitely overpaid. Definitely.
But say Palmer cost 115 million instead of 40. Would we be praising him as highly as we are? I don't think we would.
Well, no, definitely
because we'd expect more because we paid more, don't you think?
Yeah, but that's. I don't know, man. I just think market fees are so situational nowadays. Like, they really are. Like, it's great when you get a bargain, but for these players, like, especially when other top clubs wanted him, like Enzo's release clause, like, we had to pay that. Otherwise, Man City or Bayern or someone, Real Madrid, were going to get him. Like, Caicedo, obviously, Liverpool came in late. And there was probably that understanding from other clubs that because we got in there so early for Caicedo, and we was there, I think it was the January before, us and Arsenal obviously bid for him. We had bid like, what was it, like 60 million, and it got rejected. So we was in there well early. So I don't think we had that competition from other clubs, because I feel like there was that general understanding that he was going to move to us anyway. And maybe that's what it'll be like with Osimhen. I don't know. But yeah, we definitely overpaid for him. Like I even said that at the time. I mean, 150 million is absurd amount of money, but I don't want to write him off just yet. I want to give him much more time, because I do think he's a top player. Like, I know what I saw at Brighton. I know what I saw against the big teams when he played them, and yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm intrigued about De Zerbi coming here, because I think Caicedo, you've got Mudryk, who all our fans want to develop. Like, let's be real. Like, Mudryk, unless he has proper coaching, he's going to go down as a flop, and he's going to be sold when he's got ridiculous amounts of talent. So, yeah, I don't know why we didn't try and go for De Zerbi, to be honest. But here's what it is. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But for today, I agree. I mean, I think he was the worst player on the pitch. I have to agree. I think he was the worst player. Him and Chilwell, I think, were the worst players. I give Caicedo.
I was surprised that he got hooked, to be honest. The only problem is we conceded 1 minute later, so it made it all pointless.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, It is frustrating, but I'll give him probably a 1. I think, a 1. Probably.
Fair dues. A 0.5 and a 1 so far. Then, Nate, what would you give Caicedo?
Yeah, I'll go along with a 1, if I'm being honest. That first goal, the first goal we conceded, I really don't blame Caicedo there. If you've seen a picture on Twitter, literally there was five or four Wolves players surrounded him. He literally had no options.
But he ran into that situation, though. I know the screenshot will show you that. But he received the ball deeper and then ran into that situation. He could have just passed it back to one of the centre-backs. It's still better than losing the ball when there's no one around you. Obviously, you're right, bro? In terms of there was no one to pass it to. He didn't have the options. I get that. But that doesn't excuse losing the ball. You always have the option, punt it out of play if you have to. It's still better than losing the ball when you have no rest defense behind you. Like, that's always a bad idea. Like, think about how much stick Jorginho has got for things like this. Think about it. And for some reason, Caicedo's just getting let off. I just don't get it.
And I'll say Caicedo there's so much potential there. Like, when we were quoted for 100 million, I thought this guy is worth 100 million. That's, if I'm being honest, I put my hands up and say I thought Caicedo's 100 million plus player, and there's still potential there. There's still a very, very, very good player in there. And this was a bad game. He gave away a lot of balls, and that probably shows he's not really a CDM, and we're playing him as a deep line defensive midfielder, and he's really not that. He's more than that. In fact, I think we need another central defensive midfielder. Definitely, I don't think it's Caicedo. It's just that he can do that job, but we're not optimizing his abilities in that role, which is why he's getting exposed this way, because there's, like, as I said, there's so much. Look at that pass he gave to Palmer. That was the pass was weighted perfectly to Palmer, and he's got that in his locker. We're just not using him right, and that turns back to Pochettino. The guy's clueless, honestly. He doesn't.
Well, it turns back to Pochettino and the recruitment, because him and Lavia are the only, well, I guess Ugo Chukwu, but are the only defensive midfielders that we have. The problem is Lavia and Ugo Chukwu are injured. So if you're not playing Caicedo defensively, you're going to have to play Enzo defensively. So you're going to have to play one of them as what they're not really, right? But he should, like, he was also a defensive midfielder at Brighton. Like, he should be able to do it better. You're right. But he should still be better. Like, 1 out of 5 ground duels. And this is every game he has less than 50% ground duels. Every game. How's that possible, man?
Yeah,
like
the tackle. Yeah, the tackles. I think you mentioned this. He's tackling as well. That's a major concern. He's literally swiping players. I don't get it. Does he not see the ball?
And then he complains at getting a free kick against him. It's like, bro, are your feet numb? Like, how can you not feel that you don't touch the ball every time?
Yeah, so I'll definitely go with the 1. It wasn't a great game, except for the assist.
Yeah, no, and the assist was superb, and that's why it's so sad, because the other things don't happen, we sit here and spend 5 minutes each praising how great the assist was. But when you do what he did around it, it's just a bit of a waste. I want to bring up another quick quote by Pochettino here because I don't know how I feel about it. He says, Pochettino, I want to apologize to the fans. Thank you. See, at least he's apologizing. I have not seen Bowley apologize or Equali apologize or the sporting directors apologize. All I've seen from them is briefs about why they're doing a good job. That's all I've seen from them. Do you know what I mean? Like, think back to that ridiculous interview that they released on the Chelsea website by Stewart and Winstanley in, like, what was it, October time or whatever it was. Think about that. And at least he's doing this. Now, obviously, literally the whole stadium was chanting, we're fucking shit, as we are. But also, it goes back to the fans. Why is the first time they fucking get to open their mouths is when they sing we're fucking shit and Roman Abramovich? Open your mouths beforehand. You've got them. No one sewed them shut. Sing. Support. But at the same time, if the team is shit, if the manager is shit, how can you expect the fans not to be shit? Because the fans are shit even when the team is great. So what am I expecting, really? But yeah, and yes, I include myself in that, but I unfortunately just can't be there all the time. But yeah, we get to Enzo Fernandez. Also poor, let's be real. Had that one through ball to Nkunku early in the game, which arguably was ever so slightly overhit anyway, but still Nkunku got there, and to be honest, should have kind of scored. He has a 90% passing accuracy, 1 out of 1 successful dribbles, 0 out of 3 crosses, okay? 7 out of 9 long balls is pretty good. Don't remember him playing 9 long balls, but sure. 2 out of 5 tackles, 8 out of 11 ground duels. Again, compare it to Caicedo, 73% ground duels. Caicedo had 20. And 20% purely because he only attempted 5 and got 1 out of those 5 right. If you attempted, we'll probably have 2%. Enzo, still poor, but I'll probably give him it was a tad better than Caicedo for me. I'll give him I also think he was better than Chilwell, so I'm going to give him a 3. Yeah, I'm going to say 3. Naishi, what would you give Enzo today?
I would give Enzo a 3.5. Definitely, I think he was the best in midfield. The thing is with Enzo, I can feel like he's actually getting frustrated with the team as well, which is a major concern because I think he's our biggest gem in this team. And I can tell there's a few things that it looks like he's a bit frustrated. And there's some things, rumors that he is getting frustrated by his agent. I don't know if you can back that up, but yeah. So with Enzo, there's definitely he had a lot more energy than Gallagher and Caicedo, and he was around the part of the midfield. And I can't really think of much mistakes he made in that midfield, but because of the overall team performance, it brings his whole rating down. So I'd give him a 3.5.
Yeah, not fair, dude. It's a weird one because you're right. In terms of if you look at individual errors that he made, there's not really much to think of. It's just my biggest issue is permanently how, well, maybe today because of clear 4-3-3, not a 4-2-3-1, the whole 3 of them, they just fail to control any midfield. It doesn't matter who we play against. We just can't control it. The amount of gaps there's always between them. I mean, Enzo's ground duel ratio or duel ratio ain't bad, but it just needs to be better than, as a collective, as the 3 midfielders, or 2 if you want to just do Enzo and Caicedo. They need to be better. They need to, they speak about how great of a connection they have with each other and on and off the pitch. And I'm like, I don't see it. You need to communicate to each other. You understand football. I know they're young, but even a 22-year-old has played football at a decent level for nearly 10 years, maybe 8 years, right? You've played enough football to understand if there's too big a gap with you and your midfield partner that the opponents keep exploiting, that you need to tell your midfield partner, stay closer to me. But they don't. That's what I mean when I say, yes, Poch is doing a lot wrong. But I still feel that the players, in particular the 2 main midfielders, they should be adapting to the situation better. If you had Kovacic or Kante or Jorginho, I know they're more experienced and they know more. I get it. But they could see what's going on in the game and at least try to adjust to it, even without the manager doing something. Especially when you see the manager at 4 or 3-1 down, sitting like that on the sidelines. Then as a player, if you see the manager is bottling it, you need to take some self-responsibility. You have to. And again, I know they're young, and that's why this is happening a little bit less so. This is why the sporting directors and the ownership with their strategy have screwed up so badly. But even when they're young, then you need to just take more accountability. And this is why I wanted Rice, because Rice is a leader and Rice is also young. but he will take accountability. Again, that doesn't. I'm not even saying if we had Rice instead of Caicedo, instead of Enzo, or additionally, I'm not even saying that we'd be better in terms of results or performances. But I feel like that would be more like someone trying in midfield to fix the problem, because Poch ain't, and Caicedo and Enzo ain't trying to fix it. Really, they don't feel it. They're trying to fix what's wrong. But yeah, I said 3, and then she said 3.5. Pies. What are you going to give Enzo today?
It's got to be low. I don't know how low. It's a bit of a weird one, because I feel like Caicedo played so bad, but then like Enzo played bad, but not really bad. Like it's,
yeah,
I don't know. And also, obviously, the position thing is just absurd. Like I took a few screenshots where his position just made no sense to me. Like again, not a pivot at all. Like it's just ridiculous. It's like Lampard's 4-3-3. Honestly, it's like you might as well be. Like Enzo might as well kind of been like a left winger. He was so far out on the left, it was just absurd. So I don't know, man. Like he has to do more in terms of like going forward for sure. But I want him the deepest player. Like even when Caicedo giving the ball away deepest, I want Enzo as the deepest player because he's better on the ball. He's better at passing. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. And Caicedo's got the energy to go up and down as a box to box, but Enzo hasn't. So for me, just completely getting that wrong. I don't know what's given for an individual rating, to be honest with you. Maybe like a 4, a 5. I don't know. Like it's not. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one judging him at the moment.
Yeah, it's true. I don't even disagree. I'm not sure if I agree with that he doesn't have the energy to get up and down. I think he does. He just needs to have someone around him, both in attack and defense, that is actually capable, and at the moment he doesn't, which is a bit unfortunate problem. But yeah, I actually also didn't realize Arsenal Liverpool were playing until a few minutes ago. But yeah, Arsenal went 1-0 up early, Saka, and then Gabriel scored an own goal, and now it's 1-1 just before half time. So that's fun. Anyway, we move on to Conor Gallagher, who honestly, there's often occasions where I'm like, oh Gallagher, what are you doing? Today was more a case of I barely noticed him, weirdly. Like he has 94% passing accuracy, only misplaced 4 out of 64, so he completed 60 passes. Not bad, really isn't. 1 out of 1 successful dribbles, 2 out of 3 successful long balls, 4 out of 11 ground duels. Fucking hell, Gallagher, that is shocking. I'm going to give him a 2. I think it was worse than Enzo, but I think it was better than Caicedo. But yeah, my biggest issue is that I didn't really notice him enough. Maybe I could say 2.5. You know what? I'm going to say 2.5 because I gave Chilwell a 2, and I think Chilwell was worse. So I'm going to say 2.5, but still poor. Yeah, I'll keep it short and simple. What can I even say if I didn't notice the player really? Pies, thoughts and rating for Gallagher?
Just really ineffective. Yeah, I'd go over 2. I think he was probably top 3, maybe top 4 worst players because obviously Sterling was abysmal as well. So. Yeah, that too. Ineffective. Not good off the ball either, to be honest, today.
No. You just had the ground rule stat. Shocking from him. Shocking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when he got moved deeper as well on the third goal, obviously.
But I think that was the problem, that it was literally just after the sub happened. I feel like they hadn't properly adjusted to the new positions yet, if that makes sense. I don't know. But he was trying to chase him back.
Another player, we don't let him off, so I think we have to.
I mean, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. Because Enzo obviously loses the header initially, and then so you can also say if Enzo just doesn't lose the header, then the whole thing doesn't happen, right? And then Chilwell is too high up the pitch. Then Thiago Silva gets ran past, and Gallagher is steaming back, trying to help. I feel like Gallagher is the least of the problems here, but at least he tried to run back, unlike a certain Caicedo, who for the second goal just completely ignored tracking his runner, and he does that every game. The amount of goals we've conceded from Caicedo just like not bothering to track a runner as a BM, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But anyway, let me not get riled up on Caicedo again. Gallagher, sorry, Pice, did you say a rating for Gallagher after I said 2.5?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, 2.
There you go. And Vic said, if I were Gallagher, I'll fake an injury so the fans can find someone else to blame. Yeah, that's why Gallagher is different because he's an academy player that wouldn't do that. Mason says Jorginho is balling right now for Arsenal, and Decker's being Rice. So brilliant.
Arsenal not playing well at all, by the way. I'm literally watching it.
I'm not watching it. Fair play. I could put it on, but who knows if the stream will then start to
bit of an average game, to be honest.
Yeah, there you go. Well, they wouldn't be average against us. Probably score 17 against us.
They'd be 4-0 up by now against us, but
yeah. Exactly. Nashi, a 2 and a 2.5 for Gallagher. What would you give him?
Yeah, I'll agree with you, Laurenz. About I didn't actually notice him that much. He literally was invisible today, and the few times I did see him, he was either diving or committing a foul. Gallagher, I do like him, but sometimes you see he's a very average player, to be honest. And sometimes you see games like today, and you think, do I really see a future for him at Chelsea? I get it, the passion. He's an academy player. I do love that, but I just struggle to see that potential there. But on this game, and I don't know what's happened to his shooting. What happened to the Conor Gallagher from Crystal Palace, where he could shoot from anywhere? Like, his shooting's just gone off the rails as well. Like, I think it was in the added time.
At the end. What is he doing, man? It's so bad.
And honestly, like, I just don't know. He's dropping his standards as well. He should have scored that. This game could have easily been a draw. But the team just doesn't have heart anymore. And just purely on Gallagher's rating, I would give him a 2.5. I don't think it was quite as bad as Chilwell or Gusto, so I'll give him 2.5.
All right, fair dues. And we move on. Let's do Palmer first. He's the only one that deserves a decent rating, in my opinion. Scored a good goal. Played that was great over the top ball to Chilwell, which set up the Sterling chance. Now, there was moments where Sterling should have done better, and he should have finished a bit better on occasion. Should have found a pass instead of whatever he did. But he tries to take players on. He was active, in particular first half. It fizzed out a little bit, but still. I mean, his passing accuracy doesn't look great, but he's an attacker trying to create something, so that's all right. But 3 out of 6 dribbles completed, 4 out of 5 long balls. Even tackle ground duels, he had 5 out of 9, which is pretty good going for an attacker, and scored the goal. I think Palmer deserves a 7. I don't know, maybe some people think that's too high considering we lost, but I'll give him a 7. I think a 6. I think a 6 is not enough. I think for someone to play the way Palmer did today, when everybody else, we didn't give anybody other than a goalkeeper a rating even close to average. That's why I'm giving Palmer above average, because I think if everybody else is so bad, to still be decent and pretty good is more impressive. Like, if he did the same performance and we had a decent overall game, maybe 1-1-0, I'd probably give him a 6. But because of how bad everyone else is, that makes his performance worth more, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm going to say 7. But obviously, everybody else can have their own judgment on that. Nashi, you first on this case. Do you think my 7 is too high? What do you reckon?
I wouldn't go quite so high as 7, only because of this performance, which was so bad. But I know he wasn't contributing to that performance, but I'd give him a 6. I think it was an average performance in my eyes, and that goal was really good on his unfavoured right foot. That was that was clinical, and I loved that about it. He constantly tried to make things happen. Actually, in actual fact, I might change it. I might change it to 6.5 because he did keep things ticking. He kept trying to find people. So I would say 6.5, and he's the only person that I look up to at the moment in terms of the Chelsea team. I just look for him to do something magical. Like, honestly, we just literally no tactics, no plan. Just give Palmer a ball and hopefully he scores or assists.
Literally, bro. Pice, I said 7. Nashi said 6.5. What would you give Palmer?
I'll go 6.5 as well. Yeah, I think the goal was good. Wasn't that influential outside of that to go higher, in my opinion. Like, obviously the pass you mentioned was good, but I don't know. Yeah, it was just a...
No, it's fair enough.
6.5.
I think you're probably both arguably more right than me in terms of fully judging his performance. I just, like I said, because everyone else is so poor, I almost wanted him to give him a little bit of extra credit for not being poor, if that makes sense. Even whether you think he's 6, 6.5, 7, doesn't really matter, but he was not poor. He was at least decent. And give some extra credit. But yeah, there you go. Leaves Palmer at a 6.5. Thank you, Cole Palmer, because without you, mate, we literally be getting relegated. Raheem Sterling then. missed a huge chance. Even if I think, for example, Caicedo should be criticised way more because it's much easier to not give the ball away and just not lose it while there's no rest defence than it is to hit a volley on your weak foot. But still, he's Raheem Sterling, well over 100 Premier League goals. Mate, you're just embarrassing. You're just embarrassing. And the manager is embarrassing for keep picking you. The manager literally sat there at a press conference talking about Mudryk. He needs to do more for the team. He needs to do blah, blah. Sterling never tracks back, never helps the team. Part of the reason why Chilwell is as poor is because Sterling never fucking helps him. And I stand by that. And he's experienced. And Pochettino is talking about meritocracy. And Sterling is bad every game he plays. And he still keeps playing. At the same time, I complain so much about lack of experience. I also understand if I was the manager, I'd probably play Sterling as well. But at the same time, they keep talking about it's a project, it's a process. But if it's a project and a process, surely you should play someone like Mudryk and try to make him get better than Raheem Sterling, who's shit and will not get better. Like, that doesn't make any sense if it's a process. But anyway, Sterling, I haven't looked at the stats. Has he done it? Does anyone remember anything useful Sterling did? Apparently, only misplaced 2 passes, so that's pretty good. But he only attempted 1 dribble and failed at it. 1 out of 5 ground duels, same stats as Caicedo on that one. He's getting a 0, mate. Fuck off. 1 dribble attempted as Raheem Sterling on his favoured left side. You can fuck off. Fuck off back to Manchester. Pissing me off. What a terrible, terrible sign. I didn't want him in the first place. If we were to sign one of the City players, should have been Gabriel Jesus. And he's been terrible at Arsenal, so God knows how terrible it would have been for us. But fucking hell, yeah, 0. Price, do you agree with the 0? Is maybe a tad too harsh? I don't know. JP was harsh on all the players, and he said 3.5. So maybe I am harsh. But mate, 1 attempted dribble as Sterling is shocking.
No, you're not being harsh at all. He was absolutely horrendous today. Some of his touches as well. Like, he was taking really bad touches, running after the ball and giving a foul away. Like, it was literally it was utter clown show. He had 10 minutes at the start of the second half where he played all right. He won he won a foul and he was like driving at players. Apart from that, absolutely nothing. But I can't even give him a point for that because it was literally like 5-10 minutes. Yeah. And then he went ghost mode for the rest of the second half. The first half, absolutely dreadful. Running into players like I've never seen someone so bad at dribbling. It's just painful to watch. And we all know he has it inside him to weave in and out of players, but it's crazy. And yeah, I mean the wage is just don't even start.
So what he did at Liverpool and today, he earned £325,000.
Absolutely, it's disgusting. Honestly,
imagine being bad. This shit at your job and earning £325,000.
And the miss as well. The cutback, literally an open goal.
The volley,
literally. Like, you've got to finish that. Someone of his natural quality has to finish that. It's got to be a 0. It has to be. He was dreadful. He was by far our worst player, and he doesn't track back either, which is what pisses me off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Way less than Mudryk, to be clear.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Let me quickly before I go to Nashi, Chris in the chat. We cannot spend money due to financial fair play issues. They need to raise blah blah. This is not. I mean, Pice, you weren't here yesterday. How accurate is all of this talk that came out of TalkSport here? But first and foremost, before I let you answer this, Chris, please refrain from using all caps. We don't want all caps in the chat. You did it earlier already. If you do it again, I'm gonna at least time out you. If you do it again after that, we're gonna have to block you. But Pice, is there any truth to it? Like, it's the same report as a year ago, really. There's the same thing, didn't they?
No, I don't think this is correct because we sold quite a lot of players for pure profit last summer, which definitely helped us. And also, like, we've probably got that money coming in from Lewis Hall, and we're going to sell Maatsen. Yes, we will probably raise £100 million, especially with Gallagher, but I don't think there's
before June 14th.
There's not a need to. I don't think. I think you would have heard a lot more reports about this, and I haven't heard anything about any sort of.
They did the same scaremongering a year ago.
Yeah, it's and I think actually this report came from like an ex-Man City person who was saying he was basically like giving his opinion, saying if they don't do it by this, they're going to be in trouble. Like, he doesn't know anything. He's not employed anymore. Like, exactly. Yeah, it's not something. The only thing we should be worried about is that ongoing investigation with the Roman Abramovich stuff. Though that's the issue. But
that's a separate issue. That's not financial fair play stuff. That's like that's a bit like signing underage players illegally, like what we got a transfer ban for.
And also, we didn't spend any money this window either, so that's obviously going to help the accounts because you don't spend anything.
And took a few wages off the books, even if none of them were particularly big. Just quickly, guys, what is this? Because it's true, obviously, there was some talk that he needs to play a certain amount of games, and he's not playing at all, Lewis Hall. So is there a chance that they don't have to use the obligation, which is weird because it defeats the whole point of the word obligation? But what's happening there?
Well, I think different people. I think Matt Law said that it's not related to games and that Chelsea are confident it will happen anyway. So I don't know what it would be related to if it wasn't game.
I mean, if we're just confident, that means we're probably wrong, right? We're wrong on everything.
I mean, we'll see on that one, but I don't see that not happening. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of reporting saying, it was going to happen no matter what. So
yeah, there you go. I mean, Vic says Martin 35. I mean, the problem is no one has money. Dortmund might want him, but will they really spend the money? I don't know. Lukaku is Saudi. Lukaku has to say yes first. He said no last summer. Lewis Hall, okay, like Pi said, possibly, bro. Yeah, sure. But will any of these transfers happen with the Euros on through June? I don't know. But yeah, I still don't think we need to raise this much money. Regardless, Nashi, sorry. Back to Sterling. We both said 0. Are you going to go along with it? Are you going to raise it a little bit? I mean, the chance he missed and fuck all otherwise, what do you give him a rating for? I mean,
honestly, I'm going to be as harsh on Sterling only because I feel like Gusto's probably worse than him. So I'd go with a 1. Definitely, he was not great at all.
Okay.
His tracking back is just not there. Like, he doesn't track back at all. His is not there. And obviously, Stamford Bridge was really on his back. I don't know if you heard, like, they're literally saying to him, I could hear it, calling out names and stuff like that to Sterling. And the fans don't like him. I don't particularly like him. Sterling was never the right fit for Chelsea. He just is getting to a point where it might get toxic with Sterling. And I just feel like he needs to go on to something. And I really think it will be benefit for both parties if he.
He's another player we will fail to sell because unless he wants to go to Saudi, who the fuck will take his wages?
That is very true. Like you said, the market really teams don't really have money as for Premier League clubs.
Yeah.
Other than Premier League clubs, the Saudi League, Saudi clubs, and even they probably kind of there's going to be a point where they're kind of stop the spending.
Maybe West Ham will take him. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So, but yeah, on this game and with that miss, I won't be too hard because he had to take it first time and it was on his left foot. I know it was close, but it's just only because it was on his weaker foot. But his dribbling as well. Sometimes he's absolutely amazing at dribbling, and sometimes he just runs into players and then he just doesn't chase for the ball back.
What was it today? Like 5 minutes into the game, he was on the byline. All of a sudden, like, cut it back on himself with the outside of his foot, not looking first, and literally pushes the ball straight into an opponent. I'm like, bro, who are you? This is not Raheem Sterling. I don't know what you are, some sort of imposter. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But there you go. Overall, with you saying 1, that pushes us to 0.5. We give him that, and we move on to the last starter, Christopher Nkunku, who mainly almost want to just... Is there an apology emoji? That's almost what I want to give him because I feel bad for the guy that he has to play lone striker. What an idiotic manager to not understand that Nkunku is not a lone striker. You're such a moron, Poch. It's unbelievable. Utterly unbelievable. That does not mean, though.
And the board. And the board, by the way, because if they didn't think Nkunku was an option as a lone striker, and maybe it will work going forward, maybe he'll grab a few goals, but overall, he shouldn't be up there on his own. And
but even still, right, if you gave him a 10 behind him, I think it works better. I think if there's a 10 behind him, he can be a 9 if necessary. But being in a 4-3-3, no one anywhere near him, that you can't do to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You saw Carney come on against Liverpool, and there was like 5 minutes where you could just see like 3 or 4 moments where the link up was there, and he was connecting with Carney, but there was no connection there at all with any of the players, and that's why I was just confused about Gallagher today, because there was like nothing between him and Nkunku, and he was supposed to be a 10, obviously, who knows what the fuck formation we're actually playing nowadays? It's supposed to be a 4-2-3-1, but
I don't think it is because Enzo is so clearly to the left and Caicedo is so clearly in the middle that to me it's a 4-3-3, but it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, I can't bring up the average attempt
anyway if it is.
Yeah. I mean, Pais, you're speaking already. What would you give Nkunku on a day like today? He could have, maybe should have scored that first chance, even though the pass was slightly overheated. He did get there, so he should have scored. He also had the cutback from, I think, Gusto from the right, where he was just stood instead of moving, and then it's a tap in. So, what do you make of Nkunku? Mostly, I just feel sorry, but he still should have and could have done better.
Probably a 5.5. Probably. It's difficult because I don't think he should have scored that first chance. I actually think he did well to get it.
But after he had got it, he should have scored it. I agree with you that he did well to get it in the first place. But surely after getting it, the ball was in front of him. If he just had to kick it, but he missed it.
No, he didn't miss it. He chipped the goalie and it went wide, didn't it?
No, he chipped the goalie and then tried to shoot again after, but missed the ball when he tried to hit it. And then he got kind of pushed in the back, but obviously not enough for a foul.
I'll go 5.5.
5.5. All right. I think that's a tad high, but I'll let you. Obviously, it's your rating, so I'm not interfering with that. Flip sake. I'll get the average positions up in a second because it's actually quite interesting. Naishi, in the meantime, why don't you give your Nkunku rating? What did you make of him today? Is it mostly feeling sorry? Do you think he should have done anything much better? What do you think?
I felt sorry for him, to be honest. But I do feel like he could have done better, especially the second part of the first half. I literally didn't notice him at all. Maybe after that first chance he had, when he kind of went into the boards, the side boards, I think head of injury, and then I think he was just evading challenges, and he's obviously not he's not match fit. He wasn't really much. But Nkunku, if you, as you guys were mentioning, if you put a cam in behind him, sliding in balls, he'll finish them. He's a clinical striker. I think he can play that, but he needs someone to support him.
Yeah, he needs someone close to him. He's either front two or someone behind him, then he can do it. But in my opinion, he should be the 10 and Jackson should be up front, and then he can go past him. Makes way more sense. Exactly. Jackson was literally right there. He barely played at the AFCON anyway. He's fit. Why is he not playing? I don't get it.
Yeah, if you put Nkunku in front of goal, like 1v1 with the goalkeeper, 9 times out of 10, he's putting that away. I'm confident of that. Purely looking at this game, I would give him a 4 only because it's just not been involved enough for me. But that's partly not due to him. That's probably because of match fitness, kind of being cautious with his injury. So yeah, a 4 for me.
Yeah, I'm really struggling what to give him. I'll be honest. A 4 and a 5.5. I'm somewhere in between there, I guess. Because he's played so little and been injured so long, I'm gonna give him the extra benefit of the doubt and give him a 5. But I also totally understand why you gave him a 4. Or did you say 4.5?
Yeah, 4. I could push it to a 4.5. Let's push it to 4.5. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm being too harsh. So 4.5.
All right. Yeah, that's all right, bro. If you want to stick 4, you can. It doesn't change it. Overall, it's a 5. I'll be honest. If any other player played like this today, I would be giving them a lot worse of a rating. But again, because of the circumstance, how little he's played, how, in my opinion, tactically wrong he was used today, I think I let him off a bit more and give him that 5. Let's get through the rest of this. Oh, actually, let me show you the average positions today, by the way. You should be able to see them now. You can see it there. Gallagher was quite a bit higher than Enzo, but look at where Caicedo is. Caicedo's average position is lower than Disasterclass. What the fuck? How can a DM's position be lower than the centre back, man? What is this? It's like you're playing under 6 football where there's no positions yet. Like, what is this? Look at it. Oh my days, it's such a shambles. Just go away, Pochettino. Just go away. Oh, I hate you. I hate you with all my heart. Anyway, subs. Who did we sub? I need to bring it up because I can't remember.
Gilchrist and
yeah.
First
one was Jackson for Caicedo, which that worked. We conceded 1 minute after that happened. Then Mudryk came on for Sterling. Now, did he do more than Sterling? Arguably, yes. Did he do enough? Absolutely no chance. Then Carney comes on. This is the one thing that made me happy. Carney could make him playing more. That is good. Gilchrist came on for Gusto at the end, and Badiashile came on for Chilwell. Yeah. Did anyone play enough to get a rating? Maybe Jackson. We'll give Jackson a rating. I think for the other ones, we'll kind of leave it. What do you make of Jackson, Naishi? What do you reckon? He had that header that he should have done better with. Other than that, he had that moment in injury time where he goes into the box, gets tackled, falls to Gallagher, who should have scored but didn't. Yeah, what do you say?
Honestly, I think we've got a curse on strikers. I really genuinely think we've got a curse with strikers because that header, he should be putting that away. And I like Jackson. I like his attitude, his energy. I like his pressing. There's a lot to like about Jackson. He's not clinical. And that's the last thing we need. We need someone clinical. We need someone to put these simple opportunities in the back of the net. Like, this is why I think Osimhen, we need to really go all out. And I know we might have financial constraints with FP, but we need Osimhen because Jackson, he shouldn't be our number one striker. He's clearly shown that. Maybe partial with his first season, but come on, that header should be putting.
He just can't head the ball, can he? Like, he just does not know how to do it.
Literally, just put that header across goal. It's in the back of the net.
He's a striker that's been here for 6-7 months now, and he's scored 8 or 9 goals in all comps. He's not scored a single header, I don't think. It's crazy.
Yeah, his headering is really poor, and hopefully he can improve on that. But I'm running out of patience in terms of. I know these players are young, but we gotta be. We're Chelsea, and we need to expect more from our strikers. But I can't really. At least he's trying, but. I'm on rating. I'll give him, because of that missed chance, I'll give him a 3.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. I don't think he did much. I don't think, but at the same time, I'm like, because he came on and we conceded the 3-1 literally straight after, it killed the game immediately anyway. So it's partly also harsh because I know we could have theoretically still come back, but with how the vibe is in the stadium, with how the vibe is within the team, with how much confidence we have. Everybody knew at 3-1 down, the game's done, right? So who knows if it remains 2-1, maybe Jackson can actually help because he can create link up and can create all sorts of different things. But because we conceded the 3-1 and then it took us a while to actually kind of almost recover from that, then conceded the 4-1, it was long done by then. I mean, but yeah, I'll probably go along with a 3, regardless of whether you agree with the right rating in particular, Pies. What do you make of Jackson? Like, it's harsh, obviously. He's come back from AFCON, come off the bench. It's a bit harsh to say all of a sudden he's shit. A week ago, we were all saying, I can't wait for Jackson to be back. But, yeah, he needs to score that kind of header, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. We all know his heading's terrible, though. Like, it's definitely one of his biggest, probably his biggest weakness. Mm-hmm. It was a hard situation for him to come in, though. I think, especially first game back, I think he should have probably started this game.
I agree.
Don't see why he couldn't have, but yeah, it's another stupid or another decision where we don't understand, the reasons behind it, if there was any reasons, because he never explained anything. So, I'd probably give Jackson a 5, though. I think 3 is too harsh. He should have scored the header, but other than that, I mean, there wasn't that much to judge off, was there?
I guess. Maybe I'll raise mine to a 4. Overall, leaves us at a 4 regardless. I don't think any of the others played long enough to get a rating. What annoyed me was when Mudryk got that overhit cross, let's be real, by Chilwell, and then he tries to head it and heads it straight into the arms of the keeper. I don't understand what he's doing. Carney looked decent, but honestly, by that point, I think we were all a bit switched off, weren't we? So let's finish it off with a rating for the manager, Mr. Pochettino. But actually, he doesn't get a rating today. He gets a out. That's what he gets. But I still want you guys to speak on him. Pice, I'll let you go first. Obviously, we've spoken about Poch many times, but in what way do you think today could change anything? The reaction from the fans singing "We Are." I mean, I could bring this up quickly. Apparently, the whole "We Are fucking shit" started from Wolves fans singing "You're fucking shit," and then the Belgian fans actually sang "We are fucking shit." That is quite funny. At least we have some humor left. But do you think that reaction from the fans, that we're singing "We're fucking shit," the extreme booing, that was the beginning of the end for Potter last year, when the booing became strong, when the murmurs became strong? Do you think today, he's not getting sacked before the next game? I think we all know that. But do you think today could have been the start of him getting sacked before the summer? Because, that's what had happened last season. As soon as the fans really started turning, they were thinking about it.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think so. They were booing at the Nottingham when we lost 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. I was at that game. They booed at a couple of other games as well. I don't think it's, unless it's like consistent. But again, we don't have a home game for a while now. The away fans.
Oh, really? When's our next home game?
Like March.
Really?
I think so. March 9th, is it? I think. Yeah. Pretty sure. We got like Crystal Palace Cup final at the end of the month. We got obviously Villa away. We've got other teams away because I know this was the last home game for quite a while. So.
He's a lucky boy then.
Yeah, but I mean, the away fans have in the past been probably, they're probably like not the most dedicated ones, but they're kind of like a lot of the hardcore fans, the away
fans.
The
most supportive.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see what happens. Should we lose? Well, I mean, should we lose? We're going to lose to Villa, so yeah. I mean, it's just play it by ear. But honestly, I don't.
But it would also be so typical of us if we all of a sudden didn't lose to Villa. Do you know what I mean? It would be so typical.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that. I've said before that I don't think Pochettino is bad enough to get sacked, but I don't think he's good enough to take us above 8th. I've said that before.
He conceded 4 goals in back-to-back games. That is real bad.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, all of us would sack him. All of us know it's time for a change, but a lot of us knew that about Graham Potter way before he was sacked. So, yeah. Also, you're not hearing anything tonight about he's under pressure or anything. Like, there's no briefs coming out. So, I mean, it all seems quiet and as usual, which is, again, just says everything and tells me everything I need to know about the owners and the sporting directors. Absolutely no standards at all at this football club anymore.
Absolutely. But our away form has been so bad, and I've just looked now. We've got Villa away in the FA Cup on Wednesday. Then we could play on Monday. We play Palace away. Then we play City away.
Oh
then
my
we
God.
Then we play Liverpool in the cup final.
Oh
then
my
we play
God.
Brentford away.
Oh my, it gets worse.
And then on the 9th of March is our next home game. That's Newcastle at home.
Blimey, that's some tough games. Yeah,
and
we
then
are
in
trouble, bro.
After Newcastle, bro, Arsenal away.
Oh, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble.
I think without how bad our away form is, he either gets sacked just before the cup final or he gets sacked after the cup final. I still stand by it.
Palace is the only winnable game there for me, and they might have a new manager.
Literally.
That's ridiculous. That's so hard fixture wise. And you're looking at our squad that can't get themselves up for a game against Wolves. We are finished.
What do we think? Like, I think as much as for the nostalgic reasons, I kind of want Jose back. But what if we got Jose as an interim? What if we did Jose until the end of the season?
Mate, I'd have him in the cup final because we'd probably win it somehow. But
that's what I'm saying. Just get him in for the cup final essentially, and just ruffle a few feathers, shouting at Barley's face, shouting Winstanley's face, shouting Stewart's face, shouting these players' faces. Get John Terry as the kind of the mean bodyguard behind him. Punch some people. Do you know what I mean? We can handle some lawsuits. Do you know what I mean? Like, big domestic violence at the workplace. Who cares? Slap them up a little bit. They just fucking deserve it. Do you know what I mean? Little bitches. Do you know what I mean? I've now officially, what's the word? Decided I want Jose as interim. Not permanent, but as interim. I want Jose as interim until the end of the season. That's what I want now. Naishi, on Poch, what can you even say? What do you think as Jose as an interim until the end of the season? Because we will sack Poch eventually, and we will not get an interim. I still firmly believe that he will not make the end of the season. He will get too bad before that, just like he did with Potter. Still believe he will either get sacked now at the end of February or in March. I stand by that. And we will get an interim because they won't be able to find a new permanent manager quickly like they did last season. And rather than getting Lampard or John Terry himself, just get Jose. He doesn't have a job right now. Surely it's perfect.
You know what? I can see, I really can see it. And I love Jose, but he'll literally pop. With this team especially, he'll pop. He'll literally put, 10 players behind the ball. That's the only thing. But I'll definitely be in agreement of bringing him for the final. I would happily take him just for that one game. Literally, just one game. And then get some clause in his contracts after the game, because I just think
but maybe Jose and JT should do like rock paper scissors before every game. Who gets to take this one game, and then they do that for the whole rest of the season, and it's a different one every time. And each time either Jose is the assistant or JT is the assistant. We got to do a bit of fun, like Chelsea. Come on, everything's dreadful at Chelsea. Everybody's miserable. Everybody's depressed 24/7 at Chelsea. There's nothing good happening. Like, you're not going to appoint a different good manager anyway, even if you sack Poch. Just like for a bit of a laugh, imagine Jose and John Terry as interim coaches. Like, how much fun that would be. Even if everything's shit, even if we lose, imagine them on the sidelines doing rock, paper, scissors. It'd be a lot of fun. Do you know what I mean? Alisson just killed Liverpool, did he? Martinelli scored. See, even Martinelli scoring. But what do we do against Liverpool? Fucking look like a bunch of dickheads. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't even know what else to say. I think it's about time we wrap this up. Nation Price, if you want to say anything else, please do. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap this up now. Ladies and gentlemen, please check out Pice's website, londonsfirst.com, as well as his Twitter, CFC Pice. I keep saying this, but obviously you all follow him anyway. But if you don't, please do follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. Link in the description. Honestly, just do Twitter. I don't use Instagram like that. So just follow me on Twitter. That is enough. And subscribe if you haven't already. Again, I haven't told you even once, even though we had 400 people earlier. But hey, here we are. Hit that like button on the way out. That would be massively appreciated. Obviously, we play again on Wednesday. Hopefully, I have Wi-Fi at home on Tuesday, so then I can actually stream from my own flat, not my parents' house. That would be nice. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like I say, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. Upwards and onwards. I'm so sad, but we will see you next time.